Eastern Europe consists of the following countries: Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Belarus, Poland, the Czech Republic, Slovakia, Ukraine, Slovenia, Hungary, Romania, Moldova, Croatia, Bosnia-Herzegovina, Serbia and Montenegro, Albania, Macedonia, Bulgaria, and Russia. Russia's area of 6,592,800 square miles makes it the world's largest country. Although each country is unique, all share a historic similarity. Each spent a period of recent history under the control of another country, either the former Soviet Union or Yugoslavia. The country of Poland lies at the physical center of the European continent. Throughout history, it was an important trade route between East and West. But because of its location, Poland was often the front line in conflicts. Its borders have changed many times. From 1945 until 1989, Poland was controlled by the Soviet Union. When Soviet authority collapsed, Poland became independent and established a democratic government. Poland, like the rest of the countries in Eastern Europe, began to rebuild its economy with social and economic reforms. The capital of Poland, Warsaw, was nearly destroyed during World War II. Poles have rebuilt their city, and today its skyline is dotted with modern buildings. Krakow, the third largest city in Poland, didn't experience the destruction of war, and its grand historic architecture is well known. Today, optimism about the future of Eastern Europe is evident in the resilient people of this region.
Austria, slightly smaller than Maine, is located in south-central Europe. It is bordered by Switzerland and Liechtenstein to the west, Germany and the Czech Republic to the north, Italy and Slovenia to the south, and Slovakia and Hungary to the east. Most of Austria's 8 million citizens speak German. The capital of Austria is Vienna. Hungary is bordered by Austria and Croatia to the west, the Ukraine to the north, Romania to the east, and Serbia and Montenegro to the south. The capital of Hungary is Budapest, located along the Danube River. Most of the 10 million people who populate Hungary speak Hungarian. Austria is a small, landlocked nation. Mountains and forests make up most of its landscape, and it also has many lakes, among them Lake Constance in the west and Neusiedler Lake in the east. The Habsburg dynasty ruled Austria from 1278 to 1918. These rulers built many of the ornate buildings that stand in Vienna today. Vienna has long been a musical city. Beginning in the 17th century, Vienna became famous for the waltz, a ballroom dance. But many familiar waltz melodies came from yodeling, a type of singing in the Alpine region of Austria. The waltz became popular across Europe and in the United States. Haydn, Mozart, Beethoven, and Schubert lived in Vienna, where they composed their well-known classical works. The Vienna Boys Choir may be more historic than the waltz. It was founded in 1498. Today, almost 250 children live, study, and rehearse in the Augarten Palais, a school in a Baroque palace. At the age of 10, the most talented boys are selected to join the choir. In addition to singing in Vienna on Sundays, the ensemble performs throughout the world. In Vienna, the old lives in harmony with the new. Tourism in this historically rich musical city is a big industry. In fact, the number of visitors Vienna receives each year is higher than its population. The Czech Republic is a landlocked country in Central Europe. It is bordered by Poland to the north and northeast, Slovakia to the east, Austria to the south, and Germany to the west and northwest. Home to more than 10 million, the official language of the Czech Republic is Czech. The Czech Republic and Slovakia once formed Czechoslovakia. The Communist Party of Czechoslovakia controlled the government until 1989, when Soviet authority collapsed. The Czech Republic separated from Slovakia in 1993 to become an independent country once again. Prague is the capital of the Czech Republic. It is one of Europe's most beautiful cities, reflecting urban life dating back more than 1,000 years. Prague's beautiful buildings, built during Europe's medieval, Renaissance, and Baroque periods, are well preserved, largely because they were spared bombing destruction during World War II. Its old section is an architectural treasure, a maze of cobbled lanes, ancient courtyards, winding passages, and churches. Watching over the city is the 1,100-year-old Prague Castle, known as Pražský hrad, or just Hrad to the Czechs. It is one of the largest medieval castles in the world, and it is the most popular tourist attraction in Prague. Next to the castle stands the Gothic Cathedral of St. Vitus, which began construction in 1344 under the rule of Charles IV. This king built the Charles Bridge as well as other Prague landmarks. Renowned for its historic buildings, bridges, and museums, Prague is a top European travel destination and a busy center for Czech industry. No doubt it will remain important to the economy of the Czech Republic. The Czech Republic was invited to join the European Union, or EU, the international organization comprising most Western European countries. The Czech Republic voted to join the EU in 2004. Belarus, Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia are countries in Eastern Europe. All four countries share a common history. Each was once part of the former Soviet Union. At the conclusion of the First World War, the country of Belarus was divided between Poland and Russia. When the USSR, or the Soviet Union, was formed in 1922, Belarus became a founding republic. Then, in 1940, Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia were forcibly occupied and formally incorporated into the Soviet Union as republics. With Lithuania leading the way, all four countries re-emerged as independent states in 1991, after the collapse of Soviet authority. Vilnius is its capital city. Minsk is the capital of Belarus, Latvia's capital is Riga, and Estonia's is Tallinn. In each of these countries, people speak Russian, but each country has its own language too, maintained even through the 50 years of Soviet rule. During the Middle Ages, Lithuania was a large and powerful kingdom. Its many rivers made it an important location on the trade route between Western Europe and Russia. Wealthy merchants built castles on the banks of the Neman River. The country's oldest city, Klaipėda on the Baltic Sea, is one of Eastern Europe's major ports. Most Lithuanians live in cities, but they enjoy outdoor activities during every season. The primary religion in Lithuania is Catholicism. The tradition of planting crosses on this hilltop may have begun in the 14th century. Under Soviet rule, the Russians bulldozed the crosses at least 3 times to demonstrate their control over the Lithuanians. But every time, people replanted the crosses, demonstrating their quiet but willful rejection of Soviet authority. As in other Eastern European countries, the people in Lithuania are proud to live in independent states. As they work to modernize their economies, they continue to express their heritage and traditional customs.
The Balkan Peninsula is the easternmost of Europe's 3 peninsulas. The Balkan countries include the countries of Slovenia, Croatia, Bosnia-Herzegovina, Serbia and Montenegro, Macedonia, Albania, Bulgaria, Romania, and Moldova. Throughout history, the Balkan Peninsula has been a crossroads of Europe and Asia, equally influenced by each. The word Balkan is Turkish for mountain, which makes a lot of sense. The mountainous terrain in the west, the Dinaric Alps, extends along the Adriatic coast. And in the south, the Balkan and Rhodope mountain ranges stretch east-west across Bulgaria. The Julian Alps and the Carpathian Mountains line the Balkans in the north through Romania. Romania is home to historic medieval towns and majestic castles. Many visitors are drawn to Bran Castle, also known as Dracula's Castle. Dracula, the novel written by Bram Stoker in 1897, is based on the reign of a terrible prince, Vlad Tepes, who ruled Wallachia, now present-day Romania, during the mid-15th century. The prince was a harsh and unforgiving ruler of the land, known for his cruelty. Tepes ruthlessly punished those who crossed him, often executing them in public. While there are no direct links between Bran Castle and the cruelties of the prince, it is believed that Stoker located his story at this site. In his book, Dracula was a vampire. The tale of the vampire, a living, blood-sucking corpse, is primarily a Slavic and Hungarian legend that began around 1730. Many believe that the tales of the evil prince evolved into the Balkan Peninsula story of the vampire, told and retold throughout history. The region's mountainous terrain, dense forest, and imposing castles may have inspired this lasting legend.
Ukraine is one of the largest countries in Eastern Europe, yet the entire country is slightly smaller than the state of Texas. It shares borders with Poland, Slovakia, Hungary, Romania, Moldova, Belarus, Russia, and both the Black Sea and the Sea of Azov to the south. Even though people have lived in the Ukraine since the time of the Greeks and Romans, the country just became independent in 1991. Before 1991, this country was a part of the former Soviet Union. People around the world called the Ukraine the breadbasket of the Soviet Union because of its rich farmland. This country's meat, milk, grain, and vegetables have long been sold throughout Eastern Europe and Russia. Though many Ukrainians live in the countryside and work in the agricultural industry, more than half of the Ukraine's 48 million people live in its cities. This includes Ukrainians, Russians, and people of many other Eastern European ethnicities. Many Ukrainians have jobs in the country's banks, restaurants, factories, and farms, but roughly 1/3 of the nation's people live in poverty. And many of the Ukraine's industries are in desperate need of modernization. On April 26, 1986, the aging Chernobyl nuclear power plant exploded. Particles of radioactive dust spread over northern Ukraine and its neighboring countries. The radiation contaminated everything near the reactor. Anyone who ate vegetables, meat, or dairy products from that area risked becoming sick or dying. Some of Ukraine's farms remain too radioactive to grow food safely. So farmers must grow grain and raise animals on contaminated soil or on the limited supply of land that has not been contaminated. Ukrainians are rebuilding their country, but the process takes a lot of time. Many people are not able to afford treatment for the effects of Chernobyl's radiation. And doctors expect that thousands of Ukrainians will develop cancer because of radiation. But Ukrainians are doing their best to put Chernobyl behind. Ukrainians are not living in the past. They are using their agricultural wealth and medical technology to make their country a better place to live.
Serbia and Montenegro is located in southeastern Europe. It is bordered by Albania, Bosnia-Herzegovina, Bulgaria, Croatia, Hungary, the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia, and Romania. Serbia and Montenegro used to be part of a much larger collection of republics called Yugoslavia. In the early 1990s, Yugoslavia unraveled along ethnic lines, and most of its republics split off and became independent countries. Kosovo, a province within the Republic of Serbia, tried to break away as well. The ethnic Albanian majority in Kosovo wanted to escape the increasingly brutal rule of the Serbs, who were now the most powerful republic in Yugoslavia. But the Serbs wouldn't let Kosovo go. Years of guerrilla war followed. Thousands died, and thousands of ethnic Albanians were driven from their homes. Following a NATO bombing campaign on Serb troops, United Nations peacekeepers moved into Kosovo in June 1999. They've been there ever since. But the war had left behind an invisible killer. Landmines and unexploded bombs. Both sides laid thousands of landmines. And years of fighting left unexploded bombs and ammunition scattered throughout the region. Though the fighting was over, people still suffered from the war.
So Robbie and the dog handler, if you can make your
But now Kosovo is slowly becoming a safer place, as workers have begun clearing the landmines left behind from the war.
I've never been in a minefield as dense as this one, personally. I've worked in Cambodia, Kuwait, Mozambique, a few other smaller countries in Africa, and never, ever the density of mines that I've found here.
These teams of UN-sponsored landmine removers are doing the dangerous and time-consuming work of finding and eliminating the hidden landmines. In their first year, the deminers cleared nearly half the mines and unexploded bombs in Kosovo. And injuries from mines have been cut in half. They still have work to do, but the deminers have already cleared many areas near farms and schools. With these areas cleared, the people are now returning to their villages and are beginning to rebuild their homes, schools, hospitals, and their lives.
The really, really good feelings I actually get is once we've completed an area, is actually going back there and seeing it being used. You've seen these people staying away, they can't grow their crops, they just can't access the ground. And then you've cleared it, you've gone in there, and you'll see villages grow, you'll see life come back into villages. That's the good feeling I get.